Okay, I know it's annoying when you load up a YouTube video and the YouTuber starts trying to like sell you something, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm not an advertiser. I'm not advertising. I am, however, reminding you that I'm sponsored by Glitch Energy and that you can save 20% by using code 1BOOM down in the description below. They make these excellent energy mixes, very clean, very minimal ingredients, no niacin, which is great for me because I have a niacin sensitivity. If a drink has too much niacin, like most other energy drink brands, I get a headache, I get flush, I get nauseous. This stuff, clean, keeps me going all day. Very affordable, especially with my 20% off. They're always doing deals like buy one, get one free. So if, you know, something doesn't catch your fancy now, maybe check back later the next time. But that's what I'm saying. Like, this is a reminder, okay? Like, ad or advertisement has negative connotations in today's marketing world. So I'm just going to say this is a reminder that I'm sponsored and that you could save 20% off by using my discount code and that I get kickback from. Enjoy the video. Reminder over. End of my reminder. I'm also partnered with them. Hi, Glitch. I know you're going to watch this. Thank you. Send me more stuff, please. More. Thank you. It has been a while since I've been recommended a Drifter video and an exclusive Ace video on the same subject. Decided not to watch either of them and instead make the video I've wanted to make on the subject for a while. And that might make you think that I have a script for this video, but you'd be sorely mistaken. I have no script for this. I am just a little angry and want to talk. I made sure not to watch anyone else's videos on this subject, at least any ones that have been made recently. These have been being made since like 2019. I've made my own few videos about Call of Duty and Battlefield and Halo when it comes to this topic, but it's been years and I'm a little bit more fed up now. And I'm sort of off the fence about the subject. And that's the first part of the subject. So many of the people that talk about this stay on the fence so they don't get called a LARPer or a shill, but I don't care what you call me, just as long as you don't call me late to making a video on a subject everybody's already beaten the absolute hell out of. Look, you don't want your social media following to think that you're into like military LARPing or worse, okay with corporate greed. So you kind of take this middle ground where you're like, oh, well, you know, what it comes down to is gameplay, but the aesthetics are a little jarring. Maybe there's a middle ground. Okay, there is not a middle ground. We have sort of passed the middle ground. This has been going on since 2019. It's gotta stop. Okay, I know it's not a great idea to say there's no middle ground when you're about to make an argument for something because that makes you sound like a crazy person. I get that. Follow along here. My second main point about this is that when you have an advertised product that advertises a theme or aesthetic or tone, even if you're a live service game, I think you need to do everything you can to stay within the parameters of that tone, even if you want to sort of whore yourself out like a billboard for Paramount and Netflix. I believe if you're gonna add TMNT skins, they better be military-themed TMNT skins. Nicki Minaj wants a collab? Okay, that's awesome. Give her a plate carrier for God's sake. You wanna do Shredder? Do Tactical Shredder. Oh, you did that. Cool, so you know how to do this sometimes, just not all the time. It is your job to make the things that you're collaborating with cohesive in your own theme, in your own product. Just slapping Squid Game with no alterations into your game, or just Terminator without any alterations into the game, doesn't make any sense. It feels artistically devoid. It makes it apparently obvious that you are just being a billboard for another company. Because a lot of companies don't want you altering their characters when they give you permission to use them. This leads me to point number 3. There is an issue where we have such an abundance of collabs that they don't even feel special and unique. If you were just going to do like a collaboration like twice a year with some like big name property and you weren't going to do any visual alterations to it, just essentially slapping it down in the middle of the game, you'd have to space them out a little bit so I don't get Squid Game and then Terminator and then TMNT all before season 3 comes out. If you're going to do these big game takeover collaboration event things that I'm supposed to care about and are my reason to keep playing, then you need to make them special, because if they're constant, then Call of Duty is just the collab shooter that is billboarding different products in and throughout every season. And it's funny, because of Black Ops 6, we can tell that Microsoft, Activision, Treyarch, the whole mix of them, don't seem to have any care about who approaches them. It is just a bidding war. They don't have a standard where they're like, hey, we're not gonna put your product as is in our game because it doesn't suit our style, our theme, and our aesthetic for our players. They're not going to do that. I imagine like Squid Game did that. I imagine Squid Game was like, you can have us, we'll pay you to advertise through your game, but you can't alter anything because our character designs are important and we don't want them to be advertised incorrectly. Because advertising something incorrectly would be terrible. But Call of Duty feels like a whore because it doesn't have this standard. It doesn't tell any of these companies, hey, no, we're not going to collaborate with you because you do not look the part. You do not fit the bill. You are just too different from us. And if we can't alter you to promote you, then we're not going to promote you. You know, one thing I will say, at least when Fortnite adds something, they sort of make it look like it belongs in that world by giving it the sort of once-over into the Fortnite art style. Just something to consider. I feel like what people are craving nowadays, because of live service free-to-play games that collaborate with everything under the sun, when you have so much fickle entertainment and YouTube shorts and TikTok and all of these things that are very information overload, just constant fandom stuff, I think a lot of us crave sincerity. Games with singular writers, games that care about their aesthetic or their authenticity, because it shows sincerity. I think we as humans just innately react to sincerity from something that takes itself seriously. One of the massive criticisms that was thrown at like the Marvel Cinematic Universe is when they started to just be a little self-conscious that they were superhero movies and would do a lot of one-liners and tongue-in-cheek references to the fact that, oh, this is pretty embarrassing that I'm wearing a costume and fighting a bad guy on a rooftop, and it feels like they're embarrassed to be there. Don't be an overly self-aware, embarrassed piece of shit. Call of Duty, you were cool. Like, I don't know if you just have really low self-esteem, but you are cool. One of the only dev studios under you that seems to know that you guys were cool is Infinity Ward, and you know how much that sucks to say? You guys provided badass to my entire childhood. My entire friend group from my childhood believed you to be the most badass thing on the block. And you know why? You weren't tongue-in-cheek, you weren't referential, you weren't a billboard for other companies to advertise upon. You, yourself, were badass. We cared about Woods, we cared about Soap, we cared about Private Mitchell, we cared about people from your games. We cared about your stories and your worlds, and the multiplayer tied seamlessly into that, into an ecosystem where it's like, what am I gonna play today? It's not, do I play Call of Duty, or do I play Metal Gear, or do I play Kingdom Hearts, or Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm? It's, do I play COD Zombies, COD Multiplayer, COD Campaign? And there are still thousands, hundreds of thousands of people like that today that are kind of waning on the subject because Zombies doesn't feel like it wants to be itself, and Call of Duty Multiplayer feels like an advertising campaign for other products, and campaigns, okay, some of those are still really damn good, and I'm happy about that. You have a team of people that have to care a lot to know they're making yet another entry into the game series that arguably has too many entries, and they still like it, and they still obviously want to tell cool stories and create awesome set pieces and jaw-dropping special effects moments for a video game. Okay, you know what? Some of you guys are still pretty fucking cool over there. But the reason you feel cool is because you take yourself seriously. You feel like it matters to you as a dev team when you're making these campaigns. I even felt a hint of that in my least favorite COD campaigns like Black Ops 3 and Vanguard. So that leads me to my last point here. We need Call of Duty compilations like the Master Chief Collection with the Black Ops series and the original Modern Warfare series. We need to show people that weren't around for the glory days what the glory days were like, because they were cool. I think people are craving sort of just unironic, badass, like, sincerity. I think people are actually really in the mood for that, because I don't think they like the tongue-in-cheek, oh, I'm in an action shooter attitude that a lot of stuff seems to have these days. There's a whole new generation of gamers that have not experienced Black Ops 1, or I should say World at War, through Black Ops 2's storyline, or the original Modern Warfare trilogy. You still haven't remastered MW3's campaign. What fucking gives? These games have sincerity. These games are badass. They know that they're badass, and they don't shy away from it. And yeah, it's fun to look at that ironically from your end, but you don't need the art being ironic for you. I think it's up to us to make jokes out of these things, up to us to pick on our favorite art. When our art is only ever picking on itself, then it feels like we're not engaging with art. So make these remasters and then advertise them through your current mainline game. People are still going to prefer the mainline games. We saw that with Infinite Warfare MWR. Modern Warfare Remaster was a solid remaster, and everyone was really excited for the first ever COD multiplayer remaster, and Infinite Warfare still topped in players. If you released World at War through Black Ops 2 Remastered before Black Ops 6, or at the same time even, and you released those, even if they're just campaigns, and then a bunch of skins based off of those campaigns and those aesthetics, similar to how all of your prestiges Black Ops 6 reference older Black Ops titles, it'd be really cool if you did that with your microtransactions. References to Call of Duty piss people off a lot less. I mean, with Black Ops 6's launch, we got Brutus and we got Klaus, and people didn't really mind too much. Do you know why they didn't mind too much? They're Call of Duty characters. Even though they're zombies, they still are part of the Call of Duty ecosystem and the Call of Duty lore, so you know what? They don't feel like a weird marketing ploy. But now we are getting this with Season 3 of Black Ops 6 with Verdansk. We're getting an entire season dedicated to remembering 2019's, or I guess it'd be 2020's, Warzone. And while I'm not a big fan of Warzone, I love seeing Call of Duty just experimenting with the idea of referencing itself, building off of its own nostalgia around its own series. I don't want to relive my Ninja Turtles nostalgia in my 90s military Black Ops game. I would love to relive some Black Ops nostalgia, please. But I will settle for Warzone. I will settle for Modern Warfare 2019 themed cosmetics. Because at least it's Call of Duty throwing Call of Duty a bone instead of Call of Duty throwing Netflix a bone. Hey Netflix, why don't you use Call of Duty to advertise stuff like Extraction 1 and 2, which were really fun action movies with Chris Hemsworth, and people would have bought skins based on that movie, on those movies. That would have been cool. Just wanted to throw that in this video because that annoys me. Call of Duty's always been the coworker shooter, but it's always been that coworker that's a little too into Saving Private Ryan and owns maybe a few too many guns or too many airsoft guns. And now it's for the coworker that doesn't even know Alex Mason by name. That's sad. So to end this video on a definitive point, I think Call of Duty is actually going to push its fandom out. Call of Duty does have a fandom. And Call of Duty fans have been made fun of for years for playing the dumb kiddie twitch shooter, not a realistic military shooter, for so long, or picked on because the games come out too often. They're like the fast food of FPS games, right? AAA slop, right? And so I feel like the fact that there are fans of the Call of Duty aesthetics and stories and zombies and multiplayer and want that vibe to be preserved, it's kind of weird to watch them finally pipe up that they've been fans this whole time. But I assure you, I know these people. They've been fans the whole time. You haven't heard a lot from them because they didn't have Ninja Turtles running around with AK-47s in their multiplayer before. Now that they do, some of them are like, hey, the vibes are wrong. And again, if only occasionally did they add some crazy limited time mode or limited time access skins, that'd be one thing, but they add skins that permanently influence the inventory of the game for the rest of its life cycle, permanently influence the inventory of Warzone forever, apparently, because we still have the same Warzone skins ever since fucking Modern Warfare 2. And they're these like essentially permanent additions. If you did temporary things occasionally, they'd be kind of special and funny, but instead, they're not special and funny. They're abundant and fast, and I'm sorry, they're for a generation of TikTok-brained people that don't care about any sort of artistic integrity, and that's not a fandom you're gonna be able to build around. Call of Duty can't just be the other file on the dude's Xbox next to Fortnite. Call of Duty is a series of games that took itself seriously, and still has a lot of fans that take it seriously too. And if you pretend that doesn't exist, if you pretend that doesn't matter, you will eventually force them out. I'm hoping that Black Ops 6 is working as a market test to see how much they can get away with, similar to how Black Ops 4 was as well, but I'm not gonna hold my breath. Not to be too dramatic, but it might be time to just put a wrap on Call of Duty in my life if this situation doesn't improve after Black Ops 6. If this gets worse, if we get Modern Warfare 4 and it looks indistinguishable from real life and it's super detailed and hyper cool, and then 2 months into it, I see a Ninja Turtle running around, I might just kinda be done. Aesthetics do matter. I have to look at the game, and there are so many military shooter offerings where I can go and actually have a military experience, a military shooter experience. There is so many instances where I can just go play something that has its own vibe that is going to deliver that vibe that it's advertising all the time, and I could just go play those. I'm not trying to feel like a real soldier or try to LARP. It's just, I'm here for what the game is. The skins and theming of the events go against what the game is, so I feel like it's slowly just whittling away at the game's feel and appearance and tone. If you have trouble understanding that, then you are exactly who they made those Ninja Turtle skins for, and you're exactly why they feel like they can get away with buying Squid Game. So no, I'm off the fence on this. I'm not getting anywhere near a fence on this. This shit sucks, and if it doesn't improve, I'll take my time and money somewhere else eventually. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. You made it through the end of this video? That's crazy. That shows a lot of tenacity and attention span on your part. We're proud of you here over at One Boom Incorporated. If you didn't hear in the beginning of the video, this video is sponsored by Glitch Energy. Please go ahead and check out that link in the description below. Use code ONEBOOM to get 20% off your order and enjoy some delicious clean energy that keeps you going all fucking day. See you when I see you guys. Goodbye.